You've got two pots up on the pole with three-phase secondary. Y'all have been asking about open bank since I started posting these videos, so let's get into it. There's only two ways to build a normal open bank, Y delta and delta delta, and you'll likely run into the Y delta variant more often. On the primary side, both pots H1s go to their own phase and the H2s go to the neutral. And that's all you need for this bank, and that's why it exists. All you need is two phases and a neutral. Utility didn't have to pull a third phase in. The other two-pot bank is the delta-delta open bank. Two pots again, but now each pot connects phase to phase on the primary, with each transformer supplied a different pair of phases. Delta-delta open needs all three phases up top. It's two pots on the pole with three phases feeding them, and this bank is much less likely because if you have three phases present, the main reason for building an open bank disappears. So how do two pots make three phases? It's the same answer for both banks. Both of these two primaries are fed off voltages that are already 120 degrees apart. Each pot copies its own primary angle onto its secondary, so two banked pots secondaries come out 120 degrees apart too. You only need two primary phases offset by 120 degrees in order to make three-phase secondary. A two-pot bank or an open bank is always a delta secondary. There's some oddball exceptions, but we'll cover those later. Here's the delta triangle that most of you should be familiar with now, and we're going to erase one side. Two transformers, two sides, but all three corners are still present, so all three secondary phases are still created. Everything else is just the same delta secondary we already know and love. 120 volts phase to ground on the coils with the ground reference and 208 on the opposite corner. Move the ground reference, move the wild leg. So what does an open bank cost you versus a closed bank? Well, open banks just aren't as good, and here's the simple reason. You can't get as much three-phase out of the same transformers. The pots are every bit as efficient as they always were. Efficiency doesn't change. It's a kVA capacity issue. You just can't use everything you paid for on open banks, so pots have to run bigger to make up for it. The breakdown and numbers behind all of this is coming soon in another video. I'm already working on it. We already know that the lighting pot carries all of the single-phase load, but did you know that on an open bank, the lighting pot also carries 2/3 of the three-phase load? It's almost always going to be a bigger pot than the power pot that's carrying nothing but 1/3 of the three-phase load. And to button up this open bank video, you can never make three-phase secondary out of single-phase primary. A transformer's secondary only comes out in phase with its primary or 180 degrees out. There is no 120 degrees setting on a transformer or anything like that. So two pots off the same phase, both secondaries end up at 0 or 180 degrees apart from each other. The vector goes flat, and that's just a single-phase service. Now you know the hows and whys behind two-pot open banks. Both the delta-delta and Y-delta open banks are in my app, XFMR Lab. One more thing real quick, I'm rebranding, same guy, same apps, new easier to remember name, Lineman Apps, linemenapps.com. Go wire up some open banks and stay safe, boys.